Hey there, Variety here. Welcome to today's video in which we're going to be doing a Mage class guide for Tarisland. I'm actually kind of excited because I really like this class. I think it's a lot of fun. So the Mage in Tarisland has two different specs and both of them fall into the DPS role. So your main spec will be Frost or it will be Flame. And both specs are actually quite different. So depending on, they're not the same loop of rotation with slightly different flavored, ice, thunder, fire. It's actually quite different. So it actually makes it really, really fun to swap between them. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to go and have a look at the basic rotations, and then we're going to go and have a look at some PvE on the same bosses that we usually do. I've decided that it's best to just basically do them on the same boss to help you compare the classes against each other, so you can decide on what class that you want to play. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so let's have a look at the water build, or the ice build, depending on what you want to call it. So for the ultimates, I'm going to be using Dimensional Move. Being able to blink on a mage is great in any game. I'm going to be using Ice Shield to, defend myself, because you don't really have a lot of healing on the mage. And then I'm going to use Break Free to get rid of any roots or control effects on any boss fights. So what I'll be doing in this battle is I'll basically be using Water Bomb to get water, and it'll charge up your water here. It's in intervals of 30. You're going to use your Ice Spike Weed to turn your water into ice. And depending on how much ice you have, when you use Icicle Storm, it'll do damage. So for example, if you have 30 ice, it'll hit him once. If you have 60, it'll hit him twice. And basically, you want to charge this up to 3 and then unload. So your Water Spirit will actually do a decent amount of damage, but the main thing here is that it gives you water. So when you use this and you use your Water Bomb combined, you get your water back really quick, so you can convert it into ice to use Icicle Storm again. Here you have Snowstorm, which is basically an AoE. And then you have Ice Increase. So it triggers your Ice Power to boost your combat rate, which is, what this class uses. And it increases your damage and attacks. Basically, it's a bit of a damage multiplier. So one of my talents is actually, when I use Ice Spike Weed, it makes future Ice Spike Weeds in the next 7 seconds more powerful. And because you get more power in your abilities when you consume more water. So as you can see there, for every 1 water, it increases damage by 5%. Having 1 water and then using ice doesn't work. You need to use the proper rotation. So let's go and have a look at it. Let's blink at the battle. Alright, so I'm going to use my Water Spirit to get my water up quickly. As you can see, it's filling up. Now it's full. And then I drop. See how I see the multiple 600s? That's because this was fully charged. Your C ability, which is your inscribe ability, makes it so when you use Water Bomb, you regenerate water extremely quickly. Okay, so I'm gonna get my ice back. This is a little bit weird because my, for some reason, my macro keys just rebound themselves. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay. So, as I mentioned, water regen, stack ice, use ice. As you get a little bit higher in the talent, there are a couple of combinations you can do. Like, for example, some of your abilities will give you more ice or more water. And you can stack the rotation up, so basically you're able to unload 2 sets of 90 energy within a couple of seconds with all of your damage buffs up. And it does, like, an incredible amount of, like, burst damage. But you need to be a higher level in talents for that. I will put that information in the spreadsheet below. I'll kind of talk about how the talents affect the abilities, and how you can squeeze the most amount of damage into that small amount of time, so you can, have the damage buff for all of your major damage abilities. So as you can see here, I'm going to power up. See how I basically almost got back to fully charged within a couple of seconds? If I had a couple more talents, I would have been able to do that. But yeah, so that is the ice build for the Mage. So let's go and have a look at the fire build. Okay, so let's have a look at the fire spec. Okay, so this one is quite a bit different. So this one works on a heat system, kind of like a bomb. So what you want to do is you use your heat bomb and it puts kind of like a bomb on them. And by cycling Fireball and Searing Sting, you're attempting to crit, because it might look a little bit weird now because I'm a little bit lower level, but as you go up, the idea is to crit the enemy while the heat bomb is on them. And then the more you crit, the fire charges will go higher. And the higher the heat charges go, when it explodes, it does more damage, right? So the entire idea is put the bomb on them, crit, 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 and then make it explode when it has a high counter to do the maximum amount of damage. It's a little bit more difficult to achieve at lower level because you don't have the crit and you don't have the critical talents a little bit deeper into the tree. But regardless, so let's have a look at some of the abilities because I think it's important. Blazing Orb, for example, here will always crit. 100% crit rate. The Fireball and the Searing Sting, based upon your talents, they'll have like different crit rates. So you can't just mindlessly hit Fireball and Searing Sting. Initially at level 20, no problem. But as you get higher, the different crit rate, you don't want to overflow 100%. So you want to, be careful about which abilities you're using in which order. So let's go and have a look at the basics. Okay, so this is the Fire Tornado. I don't really need this. Okay. So we start with the bomb. So we got up to 7 charges. Fire bomb comes back up. You may notice here that I actually have 2 Searing Stings instead of 1. That's because of a talent I have. So I'm kind of like saving that up. If you had an extra talent, I believe your Blazing Orb also pauses the fire. So basically, you're able to slow down how quickly it explodes. So you not only do more damage and more crit rate with your abilities, but you also have other things you can do to, like, get more charges. So that's my Flame Tornado. Here's my bigger ability. Whoop, I got knocked up. Okay, so I got a little bit too far away. So basically, if you're not, you got to use your heat bomb and you got to use your fire charges effectively. Otherwise, you're just not really doing much damage. Yeah, so that's pretty much how the fire class works. As you do level up, it does become more complicated for sure, because you can stack your flame charges up to much higher, and it's much more interesting. But that is the the general base rotation for the flame class in the in the game. I really want to hit home the importance of crit here. Basically, if you can't crit, not good. You need to crit because that's all the flame charges. So you really need to focus on getting your crit rate up, and as you get your crit rate up and your crit damage up, you're going to notice your damage spike quite a lot on this class. Okay, I think that covers everything you need to know for the Mage. As always, check the link below the video so as to get the information that you want if you want to min-max this class and get any information that I couldn't talk about in this video. Thanks for watching.